Hi guys, so welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Imani. So guys, in today's tutorial we're going to be using this beautiful fabric. You can see we're going to be making this beautiful dress. You can see on the thumbnail. So that's what we're going to be making today. But guys, before we go right into the tutorial, I came here to beg you guys to please, if you're not yet subscribed to this channel, please do well to subscribe to my YouTube channel and join this beautiful family. Okay, so this channel, I actually came out here to tell you guys to please subscribe, because I noticed that so many of you are watching my videos and you're not yet subscribed. Please, it doesn't take anything. Just click on the subscribe button and join this beautiful family, and also turn on the notification bell so that whenever I upload a new video, you'll be the first to get notified. Okay, and also give this video a thumbs up if you find it helpful. Thank you. So guys, this is a beautiful dress we are going to be making today. You can see how beautiful this dress is. So without further ado, let's dive right into the tutorial. So yeah, this is the fabric we are using to make this dress. This fabric is so beautiful. When I saw this fabric at first, I fell in love with it. It's so beautiful and so colorful. So right now we are about to start this tutorial. So now you can see the fabric is folded into two. Not actually, it's into two. I just brought the ends of it, okay, as in you can see it's open at that part. So this, I'm using it to cut out my front because this is shirt dress. There will be a zipper in front, so it's going to be opened anyway. So that's why I just brought the two ends together, and yeah. So now I'm ruling my zipper allowance. I took 1.25. You can take 1.5. You can take 1 inch depending on what you want. So now I'm just marking my 1.25. So now just join those points together like so. So I'm just joining those points together. So all my measurements will be starting from that line. All my measurements will be starting from that line. That other part we have there, the 1.2 inches 25, is going to be serving as my zipper allowance. Okay, so now I want to measure the length of this dress first. Now to measure the length of the dress, I want this yellow parts, this orange and yellow parts, this down part you can see me pointing at, to be the down part of my dress. And this Ankara is actually longer than what I want, so I'll just put my tape. I measured 38 inches. I put my tape on 38 and I brought it back up, just measuring 38 from that down part. So I've measured my 38 inches, which I want my dress to be. So the 38 inches, not just the 38 inches, okay, I measured 38 inches plus 2 inches because I'm going to be turning it up with about 1.5 inch, then I'll be sewing it with half an inch. That's the 2 inches. So I marked it there. So now I'm going to start my measurement from the shoulder. You can see I took my shoulder to my waist measurement, and I'm also going to take my waist to my hip depth. So I'm just marking my shoulder to my waist measurement first. For me it is 16 inches. So I'm going to be placing my tape on my waist and taking my hip depth. That's the fullest part of my hip, from my waist to the fullest part of my hip. But you can also just take it from the shoulder to your hip measurement. It's actually the same thing, okay? For me it is 25 from my waist, from my shoulder to my waist, okay? Then from my waist to my hip depth it is 9 inches. So when I measured it, it's actually the same thing, okay? So I just marked that hip line out, as you can see. So I'll be going back to the shoulder now. Remember, all our horizontal measurements are going to be taken from that line. So I measured my shoulder measurement divided by 2. For me it is 15 inches divided by 2 is 7.5. Then I added half an inch, making 8. Then from that point I came down by 2 inches, not the normal one, not the regular 1 inch we always come down, because this is a shirt dress. So the front part will be shorter than the back. The back will be overlapping the front. So I came down by 2 inches there. Then I went in by 2 inches at the neckline, because this is a shirt. We don't want the neck to be too wide, okay? To be on the safer side, I just marked 2 inches, then I roll the slanted line to meet that 2 inches I have at my shoulder. So now I want to take my armhole measurement. So to do that, I'm going to be placing my 2 inches on that line, then take my 8 inches. I hope you guys understand what I just said. I took my 2 inches up because I've minus 2 inches before, so I took 8 inches. So if you measure what I took, it's actually 6 inches. Hope you get fine. So now after that, I'm going to be coming down by my 8 inches that I have on my shoulder, just to have a straight line like so. So I'm just going to connect it back to the shoulder like so. So that is my armhole. Okay, so from there I am going to, yes, that's my armhole. So from that point I can just take my bust circumference. So I'm taking my bust circumference divided by 4, and I'm adding 1 inch for my ease. And yeah, you can see what we have there. I added 1 inch for ease and 1 inch for sewing allowance. Okay, that's what I did there. So I'm coming down to my waist area. I'll take my waist divided by 4, 1 inch for ease and 1 inch for sewing allowance, because this dress is not a fitted dress. It's actually a a bit free, so we have to put our ease. Okay, so I've come down to my hip as well, and I measured my hip divided by 4 and 1 inch for ease and also 1 inch for my sewing allowance. Then I connected it back to my waist measurement. So I'll measure what I have on my hip, and I just brought down the camera so that you can see what I'm doing at the down part of my dress. So I measured what I have on my hip, and I'll just bring it down to the hem basically. So just measure yours straight and connect it back to the hip. So yeah, that's what I just did there. So I'm going to be taking this back up so you guys can see what we're going to do. So for the armhole, I'm going to be measuring it, dividing it by 2, so to get the midpoint, then come in by half an inch for the front alone. Okay, we always do this. Just remove half an inch, then connect it back to the shoulder like so. Then at the midpoint of your armhole, just measure 1 inch, then make a sweet curl like so. So we have our front block. So I'm going to be adding half an inch on my shoulder, please, for my shoulder joining. So I'll just roll that as well. So there. So now we can cut out. So before we cut out, guys, this dress is going to be having a yoke. We are going to be using another fabric, an orange fabric for the yoke. Okay, so before we cut out, let me just draft that part. So I came down by that same 8 inches we have at our armhole, okay, to just the chest line. So I use the same 8 inches, just connect it like so. You can see what we have there. So before this is what we have there, but we won't be cutting this out now. We'll be cutting it out the way we initially drafted, because we're going to be using this to cut out the back. So just cut this out, then cut the selvage, then yeah. So now I am done cutting out the front. So I folded my fabric into 2. So the back has to be on fold, because is going to be on fold. Okay, it's not going to be having any opening at the back. So I just folded it and folding my zipper area. Okay, you can see what we have. Just folding my zipper area to meet the fold of the front basically. So I actually I'm just making you see what I did there. I actually placed it on the line on the zipper area. So you can see what we have there. So right now I'll just cut it out like so. Like so. Okay, make sure you place it on the line, or if you cannot just get the line properly, you can use your pin to hold the zipper area in, then place it, then cut it out. So before we cut out, yeah, because the back is actually going to be longer than the front. You can see what we have. We still have about 3 inches, so I'm going to chalk the top part. Okay, then I'm going to be moving this front part down like so. Just move it down basically. So once I've moved it down, I'm just trying to align it properly, then I'll go back to the top. Okay, I'll go back to the top and measure from my front. I'll measure 3 inches because the back will be longer than the front by 3 inches. So just measure 3 inches like so. I've already marked it out before, so just making sure we have 3 inches. You can see, so just measure your 3 inches like so, then you can now cut it out. So from that shoulder area, just connect it back to the top basically. You can see what I have just done there. So now I'm just going to be cutting out, then I'll be replacing the 1/2 inch which I removed from the front armhole, because the back will just be straight there. It's not going to be coming in by 1/2 inch. So I'm just going to cut out like so. So you can see where I'm cutting from that 3 inches. Okay, just going to be cutting it out like so. So there, we've cut this out. So instead of bringing it back to the down part, I'm going to be cutting the salvage area out. Yeah, so basically we are done cutting. So we have to cut, what we have to cut next, we have to cut out the neckline. You can see that the back is actually overlapping the front. What we actually took out from the front, the 2 inches we took out from the front, we have replaced it. Okay, that's that 3 inches, then our sewing allowance, that's what made it 3 inches. Okay, so basically that's how to cut your shirt. So now to cut out the neckline, we are going to be maintaining that 2 inches width. Okay, we're going to be maintaining the 2 inches width. Then you make sure your back is overlapping your front with about 1/2 inch. Okay, then you're going to be using to join the shoulder. So we're just going to be maintaining that 2 inches width. Then for the front, the depth, I'll be using 2 or 2.5 inches because we don't want this to be too wide. Once it is too wide, you've defeated the neckline of the shirt. The shirt neckline shouldn't be too wide. Okay, it's better it is smaller, than when you're done you can actually trim it out if you see it is too small. But once it is too wide, you cannot do anything to fix it. So now I'm just going to be using 2 inches depth as well for the front, and just connect it back to the back. You can see how I'm cutting this out. I lifted just one part of the back up, not just cutting through. Okay, please pay attention to this. If you don't understand, you can watch it again for better understanding. So I'm just lifting that part off, cutting out the back, then all the way through to the front neckline. You can see what I am doing there. So I've removed that, so you can see what we have there. You can see. So I'm just trimming this out. You can see the back is not too deep. You can see. So is going to be overlapping like so. This is how it's going to be sitting on your shoulder. So that is that with that. So now that I've cut that out, I'm just going to be removing the back part, and we're going to be cutting out the yoke area from the front. So before we cut out the yoke, we are not just going to be cutting it out on that line, because we're going to be joining it. So we're going to be adding half an inch to it. Okay, we're going to be adding half an inch to it, so that I'll be using that as our joining allowance when joining the other fabric to it. So I'm just going to be connecting that half-inch point. So just connecting it together, then I can cut out now. Okay, I can now cut out basically. So that is the part I'm going to be using for my yoke, and this is the orange fabric we're going to be using for the yoke. This is the orange fabric, so I'm just going to be folding it. Then before cutting out as well, I'll be adding 1 inch. This 1 inch is actually the half inch which we took out from the yoke, and half inch which we're going to be using for our seam allowance, making 1 inch. I hope you guys understand. So I've just connected that, then I'll connect it back to the armhole area, then I'll cut out like so. So I've cut that out, then I'm going to be slitting it open. You know, the front is going to be open, so I just slitted that open. Then I can remove the former yoke, then chuck it the back of this fabric, because the front and the back is actually almost the same. So I'm also going to be marking my zipper allowance point, and also giving it a notch at the top and at the bottom. So there. So once I'm done doing that, I can actually join this yoke to my I'll start joining the yoke. So I'm just going to be placing it like so, right side facing each other. Then I'll sew with half an inch. I'll bring the other side as well, and I'll repeat the same thing. So I'm done joining, like you can see. I'm done joining. You can see what we have there. So I went ahead, I decided to use a velvet bias to just close that area, just to add more spice to it. So I opened it up at I ironed it down, the seam down inside, then I used the velvet bias, and I just stitch it at both sides. I repeated the same thing to the other side of the dress, you can see. So I've gone ahead to cut my lining for it. I actually lost the clip when I was joining the lining, but I will explain. Okay, so I just went ahead to join the lining at the down part. I turned it up with about 1.5 inch that I told you guys. Then I stitched it at the sides neatly, then top stitch it. You can see how neat the inside is looking. So just follow these steps. It's actually very simple, nothing much. So now I want to join. That's how I also went ahead to join my shoulders together. I joined fabric to fabric, lining to lining, so we have a neat finishing inside and outside. So you can see the inside is also neat. Okay, so that is it for that. So I'm just going to be stitching the neckline, the neck area down, the lining and the fabric together. I'm not turning this because it's going to be having color, so no need. So now we want to cut out the pocket for our dress. So when you want to cut your pocket, you can just place your hands like so, just give it this curve like so, okay, whatever size you want to use, but make sure it's longer than 7 inches. You can do 10 inches, you can do 12, depending on how big, but it must be more than 7 because your pocket opening should be at least 7 inches so that the hand can pass through. So I just use this rough one to make it. It's actually small, so I went ahead to cut it again a little bit bigger. So I used 10 inches in length. So now I'm going to be marking 7 inches there and I'll be notching it, okay? So I'll know where to stop my stitching, my sewing when I'm joining it, when I'm actually attaching the pocket to the dress. So I have 4 pieces, 2 pieces for each pocket. So this is my sleeve. It's actually a 3/4 sleeve. Okay, so I just want to measure what I have on the hem. So because I'm going to be using the other fabric to be making a kind of turn up for this sleeve, so I just measured it so that I'll know what I'm going to be using to cut out on the other fabric. So this is what we have. I actually cut out 5 inches by I think 17 inches, which we have or thereabouts. So when you fold it, it will actually be 2.5. So by the time I'm done sewing, we have 2 inches. So I've dropped the sleeve and we're back to the dress. So to know where to fix your pockets, you just take your tape, place it at the shoulder area, okay, the higher part of the shoulder, okay, the neck area, close to the neck area. Then you measure your waist, your shoulder to your waist, okay. So you can come down by about 1 inch from your waist. Mine is 16 inches shoulder to my waist, and I came down by 1 inch, making 17 inches. So I just rolled it like that to the side, so that will give me a clue of where to place my pocket. So once I've marked that, I'll come to the shoulder, the armhole area, and measure from there to meet the point that I marked there. Then just chalk it. So now I know what I have, so I'll be able to transfer the measurement to this other side of the pocket. Okay, so yeah, so that's what I just did there. So to get the back part as well, just place your fabric, then bring the other part of the back or the front, or whichever you've not measured. Align the armhole area together properly. Then when it meets at that pocket side, you know where to mark, like you can see me doing. So I just mark that, and I'll repeat the same step for the other side as well. So I've marked that as well. Then I can now fix my pocket. So I'll be bringing the pocket, placing it like so, making sure that the curved area is on top, and making sure the right side is facing the right side of the dress, okay. Then you stitch up to the notched part, the 7 inches part we notched. So I've gone ahead to do that. I also top stitched it down, Okay, so fix the pockets for the four parts of the dress. Okay, so I'm just going to be placing it on top of each other like so, aligning it properly. I'm just going to be aligning it properly. So once I'm done aligning this, I'll just go in and use the sewing allowance I left to hold it at the side, going through the pocket like so. And once I get to that point, you can see how I tilted the pocket, come in, then stitch it down to that point, then continue all the way down. Okay, I'll do the same thing for the other side. So I'm done stitching down my pocket. You can see the pocket inside the dress. You can see the other side as well. So I'm done stitching the pocket down. So this is the pocket. Your hand can go through. You can see it's bringing it out. So that. So now we are moving to our sleeve. So I'll just bring in my sleeve. Then this is the band I'm using to give it this turn up effect. So I folded it. So I'm just going to be placing it at the wrong side of the sleeve and stitching it down with 1/2 inch. And once I'm done stitching it down, then I'll just flip it to the front like so. So it will give me that turn up effect. Okay, it will have you see to have this turn up effect. Yeah, so then I'll join it at the sides, then I'll connect. So before we fix the sleeve, I have gone into iron our zipper allowance. So I'm going to be bringing my zipper and fixing my zipper to the dress. So in fixing the zipper, this is a very long zipper. For shirt dresses like this, you use a very long zipper of about 40 inches or thereabout. So now I'm going to be leaving 3 inches down. I'm not going to be sewing the zipper from the from the hem. I'll be leaving 3 inches, then I'll be stitching my zipper. So I've gone ahead to connect my zipper. You can see, so I'm just going to be closing it up so you can see what we have there. So I've just gone ahead to zip it up like so. We have excess. That excess we have at the top area, we'll simply cut it out, okay, when we're about to fix our collar. So guys, this is our collar, and if you don't know how to cut a collar, I'll be leaving the description of the tutorial in the description box, in the description down below, so you can check out to cut your collar. So this is the collar, so we're just going to be attaching this to our dress. So I'll just be cutting out the excess zipper first before attaching the collar. So before we attach this collar, we're going to be locating the midpoint of this dress. So this is the midpoint of the dress. I've notched it, and I've also notched the midpoint of the collar. Okay, so I'm going to be placing it on the wrong side. Guys, you can see what I'm doing. This collar is actually folded on one part. When you watch the tutorial on the collar, how to make your collar, you understand better. It's actually folded on one part. Sorry, it's actually folded on one part, so the other part that is not folded, that I'm going to be attaching to the wrong side of this dress, I'm just going to be stitching it down like so all the way around, lifting the folded part up. Okay, just attach that part down, and once you're done, you flip it. Okay, then top stitch on the folded parts. Okay, this is what it's going to be looking like when you flip. So the rough side of this collar is going to be sandwiched inside the collar. Okay, it is not going to be showing. You just top stitch basically. So once we are done with that, we're just going to be fixing our sleeve, connecting our sleeve to the dress basically, and we are done. Guys, you can see the finished look of this dress. This dress is given. Guys, it's so beautiful. It's one of our ready to wear piece. I'll be bringing the tutorial for our ready to wear dresses here. Okay, so you watch out. You can see how beautiful this is. So many people have bought from this our collection, and right now it's actually sold out before I'm dropping this video. Sorry guys. Okay. So this is so beautiful. So if you've not subscribed to my channel as well, please do well to subscribe, like this video, and share. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Love you guys. Bye.